Sakafet YouTube and welcome back to my channel. Guys, today I'm showing you how to make a typical St. Lucian Sunday breakfast. On the menu we have some fried bakes, and as you can see over here, I'm loading my bakes with some saltfish. To the left of that, well, to the right of that, we actually have a big pot of cocoa tea. Let's not forget our beautiful fried plantains. Listen, this is another episode of Cook With Me from start to finish. I hope you enjoy it. So first things first, we're going to be making our fried bakes. I'm going to be using 2.5 cups of self-rising flour. As you can see, the cup I'm using is actually a half cup, and this is why I'm using about 4.5 of theirs, which makes 2.5 cups. I'm also going with some white sugar, and I put a tablespoon as well as some salt, a quarter teaspoon. I have a quarter teaspoon of mixed spice going in there as well as a tablespoon of butter. Very easy recipe. Anyone can make this at home. I'm also going in with some baking powder, which is 1 teaspoon. Then I'm going to be using my spatula to sort of combine everything, because to me, I just think a spatula works perfectly and you don't really have to get your hands dirty at first. So that's always really good. I'm using some lukewarm water and I'm just adding it gradually. In my jug, I probably have about 2.5 cups of water, but you're probably not going to end up using all of it. But I sort of just like to have that amount there and just gradually add it till I have a nice soft dough. Okay, so just combine everything with your spatula, add water as you go along. And I sort of know when to stop adding water, because the thing is the dough is going to start looking a little bit mushy, and this is where you're actually just going to start using your hands. Okay, so I'm just going in with my hands and I am kneading with my knuckles. I'm not really kneading with my palms, I'm kneading with my knuckles. If you look at what I'm doing, you can see that I'm just using my fingers, my knuckles, and sort of just like folding it in. Okay, really easy technique. So yeah. Afterwards, I'm going to be rolling it into a nice dough ball, and we just want to put it into our bowl, cover it for about 30 minutes. And when the 30 minutes is up, we're going to come back and then we're going to section it off into 6 pieces. Now, usually I section it in half and then each half in about 3, but I don't know what happened here. Anyways, 3 pieces on each side, so you have 6 in total. As you can see, my dough is nice and soft. It's not a really hard dough like if you're making dumplings or something like that, so you need to be a bit careful about the texture of your dough when you're making these fried bakes. Okay, so now that we sort of have our sections, I am just gonna go ahead and just start rolling this into some nice dough balls. So now that all 6 are done, we're just gonna sprinkle a little flour on there, and then we just sort of want to open them up because we actually need to roll this flat. Okay, so sort of just hold it in the center and spin it around in your hand, sort of like what I'm doing really. It's actually not that hard, and you just want to open it up, and as you open it up, you're just gonna be turning it around in your hand. Okay, I'm gonna be doing all 6 of them, and then we're gonna be rolling it up as soon as I am done over here. I hope you guys are actually enjoying the detail of this video, because I could have actually skipped through, or I could have just sped it up, but I decided not to, just in case you're really struggling with how to make your bakes. So yeah, I hope you appreciate that. So we're gonna start by rolling out our dough. First thing you want to do is to make sure to flour the surface, as this prevents the dough from sticking to your rolling pin and the surface that you're working on. I'm just gonna be rolling this about an inch or two thick, not too flat but not too thick, because as you know, bakes are usually really thin, as when they fry up they're gonna be nice and hollow on the inside. So I'm just rolling out all 6 of them, and make sure as you're rolling it out, put a little bit of flour, and as you will see, I will be stacking them up one on top of the other every time I roll out one. The key to prevent them from sticking is to just ensure that you have some flour on them before you stack them onto each other, because it's going to stick together. If you ever try that and don't put some flour, don't say that I didn't warn you. Okay. Now that we are all done, got my oil heating up for the past minute or two, and all you want to do is to just fry up these bakes. Make sure to throw a bit of oil on the top as well, which will enable it to rise up nicely. Okay, as you will see, this bake is gonna rise beautifully. Okay, so I like to use a spoon and just throw a bit of the oil on the top, swirl the bake around a bit, as this really helps for it to, you know, rise up nicely. Okay, as you will see here, gonna go ahead and fry all 6 of them. Like I said, I didn't speed it up because I want you guys to see the detail of this video. Okay, look at how beautiful this bake is rising, girl. Yes. Okay, and you just want to flip it over. Now it's totally okay to add 1 or 2 or 3 to the pot, but usually what I like to do is when the bake is nearly cooked, I like to just go in with the other one. That way I'm not frying them one at a time, because hey, this is gonna take a while if you try to do it like that. Okay, so just flip the bake over. When it gets to that nice golden color, I like my bakes to be nice and golden brown, and then I take it out as soon as it's nice and golden. So because my pot is big enough to hold 2-3 bakes at once, I actually have 3 bakes in there. So yeah, this one is also ready to come out. So we just have a bowl over there that is lined with some paper towels, just to absorb that excess oil, because you don't want no oily bakes. You don't want that. Okay, so showing you how I throw some oil on the top, and that just helps my bake to rise up nicely. So this is my last bake all done. As you can see to my left, I already have some plantains queuing up to go in. And this is just one ripe plantain that I will be frying up because listen, I don't want to have no meal without some fried plantains on the side. If you know me, you know that my second husband is a plantain. All right, I love it so much. Okay. As soon as the plantains get to that nice brownish golden beautiful color, you just want to go ahead and just put it on a paper towel just to absorb any extra oil that may still be in the plantain when it's all done. Okay, so that was pretty quick. Took me about 2 minutes just to fry that up. And next up on the menu, we are going to be making some. Oh, this plantain doesn't want to get out the pot. Next up on the menu, we're going to be making some saltfish. So I am going to be adding some skinless and boneless saltfish to my pot. And I'm going to be putting some water in there, sort of like to rinse the saltfish off before we start boiling it, okay? So throw that water away. And then you want to go in and add about 3-4 cups of water. And we're going to be boiling that twice. First time that the saltfish boils, you want to drain off that water and then you want to fill it up again. So yeah, that's the first boil and this one is the second boil. Okay, and then we're just gonna allow that to boil up. Takes about 15-20 minutes in between, and then we're just gonna discard that water, and it's pretty simple. I like to boil my saltfish at least twice just to get rid of any excess salt in there, and then we're gonna drain it off completely. Then we're gonna put some cool water and just allow the saltfish to soak in there for about 10 minutes. Okay, so to a clean pot, I just added some oil, and in that little bowl in my hand, I have a blend of one pimento pepper, I have one medium onion, and I have two spring onions in there. And I just want to saute that in a little bit of oil for about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm now going in with some black pepper, of course, and I'm putting about a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper in there. Then I am just gonna go ahead and just flake my saltfish into the pot. Okay, you can actually choose to just flake it in a bowl separately, but I just like to do it straight over the pot just because it saves me from having extra dishes, and I really don't mind, to be honest. It will take me about 30 seconds to a minute to flake everything into the pot. So now that all my saltfish is into the pot, I'm just gonna go ahead and stir that up nicely. Just stir it up, stir it up, stir it up for the next about a minute or so. Because the saltfish has salt in there, we don't really want to add in any extra salt to this. Okay, so this is why you don't see me adding any salt. I will be adding a little bit of paprika though for some color. That is totally optional, but I just love paprika. It doesn't really taste like much, but it's just gonna give this a nice little color as well. So when my saltfish was nearly cooked, about a minute or two before I turned it off, I just went in with some fresh thyme, sort of like the finishing for this beautiful saltfish. If you don't like thyme, you can totally choose to leave it out, but I love thyme. I love how fragrant and fresh it makes everything. So this is why I am using some thyme. But for now, my saltfish is all done, all cooked. So bakes done, saltfish done. Now we're just gonna jump over and make our cocoa tea. So to a clean pot, I just added about 6 cups of water, and I'm just going in with some bay leaves as well as some cinnamon sticks. These are both locally grown in St. Lucia, and my granny brought them for me. So kind of her to always bring my spices for me. I also just added some star anise to the pot, and we're gonna cover it up for 10 minutes. In my hand, we have a nice cocoa stick. This was locally made in St. Lucia as well. And we're going to be grating about an inch off of that cocoa stick. And it is going to make a nice powder. And this is what is going to make that beautiful cocoa tea. Okay, so as I'm showing you here, about an inch off of the cocoa stick, that's what we will be grating. In this little bag, I have some nutmeg. I have about half of one that I have started using before, and I also have one in its case just to show you how it looks. And I will be grating that nutmeg on the bigger side of the grater. Okay, then I'm just gonna go ahead, pour it into the pot, and yeah, allow it to boil for about 5-10 minutes. Over here we have some plain flour. I'm putting about 2 tablespoons in a cup, as well as some water, and I'm just using a fork to mix it together, as this is the nice flour paste that we will use to thicken our cocoa tea. To sweeten, I'm going in with some condensed milk, which saves me from having to add extra sugar because it's a mixture of sort of like milk and sugar combined already. So yeah, this is why I like using condensed milk in mine, but you're totally fine to add any form of evaporated milk or milk of choice and your sugar to sweeten. Over here I've got my Barren Foods mixed essence. I'm putting about a teaspoon in there and I'm gonna be stirring that up. So my cocoa tea is all done. Look at that delicious goodness. I hope you enjoy my typical St. Lucian Sunday breakfast. If you do enjoy this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It's a pleasure having you here as always. And thank you so much for all the love on all my previous videos. To all my new subscribers, hello and welcome. See you again soon and bye bye. You're now listening to Chef